kick down the doors, open it up, let's go crazy. Basically, any kind of sound that you can dream up to make Jimi sound better, cooler, whatever, just bloody well go for it. All right, now we're into it. We start screwing around with multiple delays, taking a piece of tape and wrapping it around the capstan motor so that when you're in record on the reverb channel, it goes like so, using different speeds of the 2 or 3 or 4 different quarter-inch tape machines. We would have a whole bunch of them running. So you'd have one at 7.5, one at 15, maybe one at 30, very speed on some of them as well. So this gave us a little bit more palette from our delays. And then we were able to come up with phasing. Well, that was a biggie. We knew the Beatles had done it. And in fact, the story is that I was very, very lucky. I got to record the Beatles twice. I did All You Need Is Love and Baby You're a Rich Man. And when we were doing the All You Need Is Love session, I asked Sir George Martin, I say, George, he wasn't Sir George then. And I said, George, how do you get that phasing sound, you know, for Strawberry Fields and for the Beatles? He says, well, chaps, you know, he's a big guy and he stood up, he was 6'3" or something. You know, chaps, you know, if you go and look in your BBC Radiophonics workshop book from 1949, you'll actually find it in there. Geez, thanks, George. You know, thanks for the information. So we figured, all right, Beatles, George, they did it in mono. We're going to beat that. Because there was a lot of competition between EMI and Olympic, because Olympic was the, you know, the Beatles place and sort of the very pinnacle of recording, so they thought, but we were kicking their ass because the Beatles came to Olympic because they couldn't get into EMI. We figured out how to do it, and one of the guys we were working with came in one day with this idea of the phasing done correctly in stereo. We'd been experimenting for weeks, and we were in the middle of the Axis album, and I said to Jimmy, we've got a surprise for you. Guess what? I said to Jimmy, sit down on the couch, check this out. We're going to play something for you. He hears this phasing sound going from left to right and just enveloping everything. He was sitting on the couch behind me and he fell on the floor and was writhing around on the floor, gripping his head and his hands, going, oh my God, whoa, what's that? That's the sound I heard in my dream. He was freaking out. He was losing his mind. He says, stop, play it again. We play it again. He's freaking out. He says, hey man, I want that shit on everything. So, well, we didn't exactly use it on everything, but we used it on quite a lot of stuff. But it was this idea of just opening up your mind, and if you think of a sound, let's just bloody well try it. Special delays, different kinds of EQs, and radical EQs too. You know, just winding stuff up and using the compressor, certainly the Pi compressor, being one of the key elements, depending on how you hit it. For instance, on Crosstown Traffic, the piano sound, which Jimmy played, I mean, it's like ice picks, because that compressor, that Pi compressor, just grabs the sound and makes that da-da-dum-dum, bid-uncle, bang. It's got that lovely bite to it. You made a commitment to the sound that you're working with, whether it be drums, bass, guitar, Jimmy's vocal, whatever. Imagine that you're in this situation, you're committing to a 4-track machine. You have to get your sound together because you have to think now in terms of 3 or 4 stages after the fact. So you're thinking, okay, if I do this move now, what's going to happen 2 more dubs back and forth, going to a second machine and then a third machine and then back to the first machine? Something's going to get lost. So print the EQ, print the compression, print the reverb, because you may not have a chance to go back and create it like that again.